He's given his entire body and soul and life to this show. And the only reason why it is such a big swing is because he put his entire life on the line and managed to convince the network to make some pretty bold choices, which they didn't want to do. And he fought so hard, and it is such a big swing, and it is incredibly fortifying, and like, you feel very brave when you've got your leader behind going, "F it, we're doing it, it's happening."
I've been a monster. This is my reckoning.
He's going to get us all killed.
Hello, everyone. I'm Perri Nemiroff. Welcome to a brand new edition of Rotten Tomatoes Watch List, the show where we get to meet the cast and creatives behind some of your favorite shows, like the Vampire Lestat. Thank you all so much for being here. Huge, huge, huge congratulations on the new season.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to dig into it all. Sam, probably no surprise, you're first on my list here. And I have to ask, because we get such a wide range from you this season, from being a modern rock star to getting a lot of flashbacks as well. So can you tell me a little bit about swinging big with that range, but also making sure there's maybe just enough consistent about him so that we still feel he's the same character?
I mean, that is sort of the show in a way, and it's always been like that from, you know, even previous seasons. They have always, Rolin and Hannah have always given us this extraordinary breadth of storytelling to play with, and we get to do, all of us sort of get to do that. We are like always dealing, because these characters live forever, so they've lived a huge amount of years, so there's lots of different contexts in which they exist. The fun thing for us, I think, is that we can look at it in a linear way. So when we approach the characters, like, we can see their full linear arc from beginning to end, so you know their whole story. But the way that the information is fed to an audience is, you know, jumping around and a wonderful Rolin Jones styles of making sure that nobody's bored at any given time, so that you know, it's a lot of information. You're like, oh, well, he's like this now and he's like that. But for us, it's a bit more structural, and it is a bit easier, I think.
It's incredible how well it all works, and boring is the last word I would ever use to describe your show. I got to stick with you a moment longer because I have to talk about finding the right rock star for him to be. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe the costume, how he carries himself on stage and all that good stuff? Was there any workshopping to find the right performer for Lestat?
Yeah, a lot of workshopping. I remember, like, when I started working with Daniel Hart first, so I got the songs first. So it's been interesting. So for the songs to be released before the show is quite a similar experience to what I had. So you're a bit like, what is going on? What is the context of this? Why is he saying these crazy things? What does it mean? You know, like, what's he talking about? Piss, and why is he, like, you know, making references to butterscotch bitch, all this kind of stuff. So that was me as well, going like, what's going on? So I had to try and find, like, what does Lestat sound like? And, you know, Daniel was very lovely. He's like, do whatever you want. You're like, just be you. And I was like, no, I can't be me, Daniel. It's not how it works. And then obviously once the context of the show came in and how Rolin and Hannah kind of incorporated those songs into the story, you start to work it out. And it is actually Lestat, like, working out what his persona is and his performance is. And at the beginning, he's sort of like filtering himself through, like, you know, the way Louis and Armand and Malloy sort of like built him in a way, and he's being the kind of like mayonnaise villain that he feels like he's been portrayed as. And also going back to his roots, which is, you know, a vampire pretending to be a human, pretending to be a vampire, kind of like being the campy kind of thing at the, you know, long face, all that kind of stuff. And then as the show progresses on, it sort of more becomes a bit of a portrait of an artist where he's discovering himself, and the kind of true kind of expression is exposed, and the musical style changes, and his sort of openness and vulnerability appears. Yeah.
The music is phenomenal, and you perform. I still can't quite wrap my head around it. Like, you're so good in the role all the way up until this point, but really just exceeded my expectations to such an extent this season. I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
That's why it's always good to start the expectations very low.
Which is not what you did very good in seasons 1 and 2. I am going to come back to Daniel's wonderful music in a little bit, but Rolin, I want to ask you a little bit about the title change this season. It might be a little bit of an inside baseball question, but it's something I'm especially fascinated by, because it's not very often we see a show change its title in the 3rd season. So can you peel back the curtain in a sense? Tell us a little bit about making the decision, and also maybe things that you and the team need to keep in mind to ensure that everybody, newcomers, casual fans, hardcore fans, fully understand where this fits in the larger series.
I mean, my guess is that it was out of my control way back when. There was like Vampire Chronicles and Vampire Diaries, and they're like, that seems a little close. So they went for Interview with a Vampire, and I was like, there's not going to be a lot of interviews after. What are you saying? You're going to cancel us after a season? So we're following what Anne's books are. This is the second book. That's the title. That's what we're making. There it is. We got really savvy fans. I don't think anybody's out there clutching onto a life raft going, I don't know, where did my show go? They all know season 3, season 1. But I think for clarity's sake, I think it is what this season is. The Vampire Lestat. Everybody else, all the beautiful faces that are surrounding right here, they are surrounding this, they're like electrons around this, like this centered, topsy-turvy sort of thing. So that's why. Sorry, I blew out my voice.
I was going to
These guys can do, they do very good impressions.
That's really good.
I do.
I'm happy you lost your voice because that means the event last night was phenomenal and you had the best possible time. Jacob, I'll come your way.
Just rolling at the end of a week.
I'll come your way to talk about Louis' relationship status this time around. You're used to this from me. I'm going to give you a big two-parter because Louis this time has a connection with Lemuel, and I'm curious, can you tell me something he's getting from that connection that he needs right now at the beginning of the season, but then also tell me maybe a hole that Lestat left in his heart that only Lestat can fill?
Love Lemuel, and relationship status is complicated. It's complicated, but I sound so old then. It's complicated. I think what Louis gets from Lemuel, and he does talk about this a little bit, is the kind of emotional unavailability of him is really alluring for Louis. You know, like there's the intensity of Armand kind of like basically being like inside his skin almost. Like he's so possessive in a very specific way. And I think with Lemuel, it's like they can hang out, they are attracted to each other, they can like have all of the kind of nice bits of a relationship, and then they can go and do their thing and have their separate lives. And Lemuel's busy. He's a very successful vampire lawyer. The things you get to say, you're talking about like...
There's a show there.
Yeah, I think Lemuel's spin-off. We want to see that.
Yeah.
Vampire lawyers.
Honestly, I'd watch that.
Yeah, me too. With Moses Sumney, definitely.
With Moses.
Yeah.
So I think that it's like a new flavor for Louis to have this kind of like, they can have a comfortable distance. But I think there is something about the friction of Louis and Lestat, probably for both of them actually, that is quite hard to find anywhere else. Lemuel's a lovely, lovely vampire. But do you want to be with the nice guy, you know?
I'm not going to respond to that right now. Very singular relationship, though, I get it. Jennifer, I'm going to come your way now to talk about Gabriella. You're so good in this role. I'll break this up into a two-part question as well. You are the very first person to play this character on screen, which is a very big deal to a lot of fans out there.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hearing it now, what does that mean to you, just in terms of how much this fandom was looking forward to seeing her in this show? And also, what does it mean to you as an actor? Because you know I follow you from project to project. I think I've seen you do everything, and then I watch this show, and it's just on another level.
Oh, really?
Sincerely.
Oh, that's so great. Gabriella's, she is such a gift. She's like a cornucopia of just joy to play, and I don't know, she's so rich and she's extraordinary. And I don't know, I feel very fortunate to get, I can't believe I'm the first person. That's amazing.
You eat that role up. Jennifer and Sam, I'll throw this question to both of you because in general, I love talking about the value of a good scene partner, but one of my favorite things is how you're able to find new layers of your own character through the person you're sharing them with. So can you each tell me something new you found in your own character only because you got to share her with Sam and vice versa?
I mean, it's so wonderful. Like, Lestat often controls his space. Like, he'll walk in and he'll kind of like dominate the room or to find a way to manipulate the space to go in his direction. And Gabriella just completely overrides him in his ability to do that. So it was quite wonderful to kind of like just ride the wave, the Gabriella wave of the scene and see where we're going to go and how we're going to investigate it. But also we have the best dynamic because, you know, like we have like fledgling and maker, we've got mother and son, and then we also have lovers. So there's like a lot of complex things that we can play. So we had a lot of option, you know. So and because of that, you could kind of like find so many different like avenues of your character that you didn't know were there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't foresee the amount of how much they enjoy each other. I think because you don't really, that's not part of their relationship before they become vampires. But I think the joy that they get from each other, that connection, that the way that they feed off each other with joy was a really pleasant surprise.
I love watching you two together. Seriously, fantastic stuff. I can't
It was
say it
really
enough.
fun.
Eric, I'm coming your way now. I really am fascinated by how many power dynamics shift this season, and obviously a big thing for Daniel is how being a vampire changes things for him. So can you tell us a little bit about where he falls in the power structure at the very beginning, and how he feels about himself changes how he interacts with the vampires that we've seen him with for 2 other seasons now?
Up till now, he's been human up until the very end of the 2nd season, and he follows human rules. He's a journalist who gets the story. He's got a personal history that involves 2 divorces and children who don't speak to him anymore. And so that's his story. That's very linear, human. Now he's a vampire. And what makes it very confusing is that these guys don't live by any normal rules of order or consequences or anything. They're just constantly doing things that are completely chaotic and, for Daniel, irritating. And yet, at the same time, he is a vampire now. He does have to go find some blood to drink. And he's also, this doesn't come out so much in the very beginning, but he was made a vampire against his will, and that has to do with Armand, and he's really, really angry at Armand. You will see at some point how angry he is. So all of this combines to, what is it called? You gave it the term.
Transformational trauma.
Transformational
I didn't
trauma.
give it. He gave it the term.
Your character gave it the term. So he's sort of in a traumatic state.
Bursting at the seams to say things I can't right now, but I will say some of the stuff that you just referenced. So well done, so well done. Assad, I'll come your way now and also talk about power dynamics. And I'll give you a 2-part question about that, because it just seems like he's in a very different place, a different headspace this season. So at the start of season 3, what would you say he thinks his greatest strength is? The thing that will help him become the vampire he most wants to be, but then also what does he fear his greatest weakness is?
I wonder how often we wonder that, like, in day-to-day life.
I do every day. That's where
Do
the
you?
questions come
That's
from.
really
Honestly, yes.
I think it's really healthy. That's great. I'm not that healthy.
I tell my therapist you said that.
It's difficult to say because we haven't seen him yet. Yeah, a lot has changed since season 1 and 2 for him. But something he has is that he can observe, like he's always watching, like he's always lurking. He's a serial lurker. and so what's interesting is that for these guys, so much is now in the forefront. There's a documentary happening, there's a rock star who's like touring, and you're like enterprising everywhere, and I'm seeing it. Armand is watching. That's it. That's all I can really. But how he feels and how he. I don't know if he's worked it out yet.
For what it's worth, I felt bad posing that question too. It's not easy to dance around spoilers right now.
Did I successfully dance?
Yeah, you did.
I did very well.
Yeah.
Delaney, I'm going to come your way now, and I'm going to tread very, very lightly because I do not want to spoil anything with you this season. So I will just ask, what was your first reaction when you found out you would return this season? And also, can you tease anything about your storyline that made you know with confidence that your return was justified?
Yeah, I remember we went to the writer's room and there was like a board with notes on it, and everybody was like, this is your board. And it was like loads of sticky notes, and I was like, right. They were like, trust the process. And then I got the script and I was like, okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, there we go. Okay. But yeah, I'm so happy to be returning as Claudia. I think, I'm very privileged to be back. I'm very happy to be back with everybody. If I keep talking, I will say too much.
I have to respect that. I'm very glad you're back as well. Sheila, let's talk about Akasha. So there's obviously...
Let's talk about
Yet another situation where we need to tread lightly here, but there's a lot of people that are very, very excited to see you in that role in this show. So can you tell me a little bit about maybe managing fan expectations and maybe the expectations that someone like Ehle set with the character, but then also finding ways to make this version of her uniquely you?
I'm a huge Ehle fan, first of all. So that was kind of crazy, especially when the press release came out and our headshots were next to each other. I can't compute that. It was kind of massive. But at the same time, I had to kind of park her portrayal of Akasha, put it to the side. Frankly, the script really helped me do that. Without spoiling too much. It's so brilliantly written and kind of gave me everything that I needed, but also so much to mine. Of course, I read some of the Queen of the Damned book. I didn't want to get ahead of myself. I came towards the end of the shoot, so everyone was already kind of everyone was like, I'm done. It's been 5 months.
We're going home now.
Yeah, but at the same time, everyone was so supportive when I turned up. I could sense there'd been a huge amount of kind of anticipation of when was I going to arrive and what was I going to do and what was this moment going to be like. And I had a couple of days to do it. And some of the guys even, you guys turned up to set just to watch.
We were backstage, cheering you on.
Yeah, they weren't even in that day. So I think that's the thing that I've been taking with me alongside that, your question about fan expectation is that everyone just has a huge love for this character. Everyone has a huge love for Ehle as well. So I've just kind of taken on that love and decided to use it as goodwill rather than pressure and expectation. And also it's just such a brilliant character. So I don't know, I'm excited.
Got very high hopes. Fans are going to really appreciate your portrayal.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's so insane. It's insane. Sheila is amazing.
Yep.
It's mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will second what you just said.
That one you can raise your expectations.
Don't set me up.
Sorry. That one I don't feel worried about at all.
The other thing that I know fans will love, and are already loving for that matter, is Daniel Hart's work. And Rolin and Sam, I'll come back your way with that because his music here is exceptional. I can't get these songs out of my head, and that's the exact feeling I want after watching a show like yours. For you, Sam, can you tell me which song of the bunch wound up being maybe the most creatively fulfilling for you in a way that surprised you? And then, Rolin, I'm curious, when you're working with him on the songs, is there any particular aspect of the story you and your team crafted that wound up getting even stronger based on what he did with the music?
Creatively fulfilling is a complex question. I don't really know. I mean, the whole thing is creatively fulfilling because it's like the show continues to expand in your expectations, on season by season of what you're asked to do. It just continually goes, oh my God, okay, we're doing this. Oh wow, we're gonna do that now. Oh whoa, I can't begin to think about where we will go if we continue to go on. I feel like we're all gonna be in space. But
also watch that.
Yeah, but I feel like the amazing thing about what you say about earworms is the crazy thing about Daniel Hart is. And I think it's you have to watch the show with the songs in context because that makes it creatively fulfilling for me because once you see the context of the song, there is one particular song that was very hard to learn and very particular in the way that the melody went, and he was very, very particular with it. And it is kind of a weird song, a beautiful song, but it is the most insane earworm that once you play it to people, they can't get it out of their head, and it keeps going around and around and around and around, and that's the whole point of it. And that's when you're like, God, there's so many layers to his genius here, because it's he's writing a great song, but he's also writing a song that gets stuck in your head that you can't get it out. And the wild thing is, there's a whole album version. You haven't even heard the actual version that's going to be on the album. There's a whole album studio recordings, and then we've got the show recordings, which are different because they exist in a context. So it's cool. It's an amazing body of work that he's done.
I'm not going to stop listening to this music, am I?
I sent Rolin and Sam last week. My 6-year-old is singing one of the songs from the show, walking around that, and that's it's a second hand. Yeah. They're very they're catchy, proper pop songs.
If only I can get my 6-year-old niece to sing your songs instead of Peaches over again. I'd be living the dream. How about for you now with the story and how Daniel maybe took it to a new level via his music?
Right. Sorry, I got lost in the dreamy scalp
Understandable.
of Sandra. You should see it as an angle. It didn't start just this season. I had this communication with Daniel all the time. We underwrite when I know his music is going to come and take over. We overwrite when it's not going to be there. He was in the writer's room this year. Wanted him to know what the context of the songs were. But very often he just had free license to say, if you are inspired, if you have an idea, please stand up and walk out, because he had a piano 2 rooms over. And so there'd be 2 or 3 days where we're like, we haven't seen Daniel, what's going on? And then boing, on my laptop, a song would come. We would all gather around and listen to it. And on at least 3 of the episodes, because of the song and what was coming out of it, we completely restructured the episodes because of it. Wow. That's it. They are the secret heart of every episode, all the songs.
The marriage of your story and song in this is exceptionally well done.
Yeah, and again, we're all talking about the songs. You forget about the scoring this year. Episode 4, there's a moment with you guys on the beach that transfers over to you. It's incredible. And then episode 7, that nobody has seen, is the single greatest episode of scoring Daniel has ever done. It's extraordinary. Oh man, it really is.
So
it's incredible.
excited.
It's so good.
Based on what I've seen thus far, this season of your show is just the definition of effective big swing storytelling in a television series. I am so impressed by what all of you do. Can each of you name a time when you saw a co-star or anyone who works on this production do a big swing type of thing on set or behind the scenes, and it made you stop and think to yourself, like, my God, that was really going for it, and I'm so proud you went there.
We came backstage to
you're
to see
pointing at me.
Yeah. I was pointing. I was pointing at Sheila. Yeah, that was my.
Rolin, he's lost his voice now for God knows what reason, but he's probably been unwell through the whole process, because he's given his entire body and soul and life to this show, and the only reason why it is such a big swing is because he put his entire life on the line and managed to convince the network to make some pretty bold choices, which they didn't want to do. And he fought so hard, and it is such a big swing, and it is incredibly fortifying, and you feel very brave when you've got your leader behind going, it, we're doing it, it's happening, whatever, just go, and you're like, oh my God, dude, I don't know, I'm just trusting you that this is going to work out. So the biggest swing is the man behind us who's lost his voice. You can't really, compete with that.
I walked in on, I think, Jen's first day, and these guys were doing a scene together, Jen and Sam, and I was pretty blown away. I can't explain what's happening in this scene, but I said, wow, this woman is going to go all the way with this. All right, let's find out where this is going to go. And I was very happy. I'm always happy to be part of this team that is so willing to go all the way each time we're in something. And it's just exciting, So there are actors who are afraid. They sense the limits of where they could, but we're going to keep one foot on the base before we try and steal the next base. And nobody does that in this cast. People just go for it, and that allows us all to kind of fly together, and it feels great.
It's a very empowering place to work in that sense. Anything goes. There's no wrong answers. Well, it's a nice thing to say. There are no wrong answers, but
But the
sometimes
permission that we have from the script and the writing and the story is just it's amazing. But for me, it was when Sam, there's a concert where I can't say anything, but there's a concert where something extraordinary happens, and there's a bit where, there's so many bits where you sing, where you're just, but there's this one moment between the, well, I can't.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
say,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was, I just couldn't believe that I was present, and just hearing that, it was amazing.
I could say really quickly something for everybody that is sitting here. But because other people have said these things, whatever, I'll talk about this one over here. I didn't get a whole lot of time to be on set this year, and we were busy scrambling and a lot of stuff was going on. But I walked into a diner scene to see something I can't talk about. And there was a transformation there, and I was like having a rough week. And I saw this and I walked away and I was just like, oh, that was great. This was a really, really lovely, lovely actor. And so that was for me.
Keep an eye on this young lady. Yeah.
Delainey, Sheila, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I came in right at the end of the shoot for like a couple of days, literally the last couple of days. And so I made a joke earlier about like it was 5 months and everyone was done, but I was also walking into an environment where I could see that all the big swings that everyone's talking about had been taken, and felt very lived in with regards to everyone's approach and the sense of community that everyone had built. You know, I don't think this is a spoiler because you see a little bit of it in the first step, but there was a moment where Sam was like spinning in the air, and when we'd yell cut, he'd just like be there hanging really chilled, and I was like, wow. Okay, I can see the tone of what this has been for the last 5 months, but everyone took it all on with so much grace, and I think it's, you know, it's everything that everyone said. Like it's partly, you know, from the source, like Rolin and the creative team, in terms of creating this material that, you know, we as actors are able to take and run with, but it's also the actors meeting that material where it is and actually doing the running, you know, like accepting that challenge and doing so with a good nature. So I was so impressed. And I mean, it was easy for me to say because I literally came in for a couple of days and went home, but I had a really good time. And yeah, I felt really inspired. And I knew, I had this feeling when I accepted this role that I would have that experience on this job when I did.
I think we elevate each other. And yeah, acting besides, if I say the scene, it will give it away, but doing the scenes that I've done with the guys and girls that I've done it with, I don't know, it makes me, I feel very safe. I feel comfortable enough to push myself, and I come away happy with the result because other people are happy, and their opinion like matters a lot to me, and I can tell that like every scene is important, every scene is looked after, every scene is cared for, and yeah, I'm just very happy to be sitting next to these guys, you know?
I
What is
get
it now?
that.
Like, yeah, like it's been like, what, 4 or 5 years that I've known you all?
Could I say one last thing? For all the people you see here, this cast, there's another group of people that are just as numerous who are also amazing, and they support us through all these scenes. Christopher and Ryan and Sarah, I mean, the band, all of them. They're so much fun to play with, and they come in and they deliver. Justin, they deliver the goods, and they're part of our company as well, and we love them very much as well.